here to discuss that visit by the ICC Chief Prosecutor. Natasha Hausdorff is an international law expert and a barrister. Thank you for being with us. What do you make of the visit by Karim Khan, the Chief Prosecutor?
I think there are many reasons to be concerned that the visit took place in the first place. We have to remember, of course, that this is a court that purports to have jurisdiction over Israel. Many international organisations made submissions to the ICC on the question of jurisdiction, including my own organisation, UK Lawyers for Israel. And despite that, the court is proceeding with what is now a 9-year investigation with the purpose of bringing Israeli defendants before a court, despite the absence of jurisdiction. So to see the prosecutor visiting now gives, I think, a great deal of concern that this is being used as political cover for future prosecutions against individual Israeli defendants. And despite the reporting that we have just seen, that is something that needs to be taken extremely seriously.
Because it was the families of the hostages who wanted Prosecutor Khan to come here. I mean, does it not help to have someone, with his position highlighting the atrocities carried out by Hamas terrorists?
I can entirely understand, having just come from the headquarters of the Forum of the Families of the Hostages and spoken to many, I can entirely understand the sentiment behind that. Of course, we need to be highlighting the undoubted war crimes that Hamas committed and the atrocities in every possible avenue. But we cannot be naive to the track record of the court, the desire that I think we have seen from previous prosecutor also in bringing this investigation against Israel to rehabilitate the court's very tarnished reputation internationally by seeking to target Israel and Israeli defendants. And to the extent that this eats away at Israel's ability to resist the ICC's targeting of Israel specifically on the basis of the absence of jurisdiction, that I can only say is of deep concern. The atrocities themselves and the international outcry against them absolutely ought to be encouraged. But so far as international legal organizations are using that as a legitimacy to continue their agenda against Israel, we ought to be extremely aware and concerned.
Of course, for those who don't know, neither Israel nor the United States are signatories to the ICC.
And that is critical. And the reason for that is also very important, because both of those states had a significant contribution into the Rome Statute, which established the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, and to the formation of international criminal law. But it very quickly became apparent at the drafting stage, in particular vis-a-vis certain war crimes that were being defined specifically for the purpose of targeting Israel. And the fact that Israel and the United States were alive to that, even at that early stage, speaks volumes of where the court started. I think what we saw in relation to Prosecutor Khan can be called an initial reluctance from a political standpoint to continue off of where Bensouda left off. But the current situation and the pressure that he has come under with respect to what is happening in Gaza has undoubtedly ignited further interest by the ICC. And we need to be alive, as I indicated, to the undercurrents, the army of NGOs that are putting forward material to the International Criminal Court, generating material from other UN organizations in order to seek arrest warrants against Israelis, remains, I think, as far as we can see, as lawyers watching this process develop, the primary aim of the court in this regard.
Because there was an interesting reaction from the Palestinians themselves. They tried to cancel the visit with Khan. They said that he was being too impartial and that he was leaning too much towards the Israeli side. What did you make of that?
The statement that he's put out today certainly highlights the obvious with vis-a-vis Hamas crimes, and I can see the response and reaction to that. But we cannot forget the first comments that were made by Prosecutor Khan when he attended the Rafah crossing, and then subsequently reinforced at the Cairo press conference he gave, which was to reverse the burden of proof, it seems entirely, to require, understandably, a presumption of innocence vis-a-vis Hamas, but to then state in plain terms that it was up to Israel to prove its innocence on the basis of its individual targeting of strikes on a case-by-case basis. Any criminal lawyer will know that that is not how the burden and standard of proof works, except, of course, at political international legal organisations. And unfortunately, the ICC has now a long history of falling into that category.
All right, Natasha Hausdorff, thank you very much.